For today's project, you will need two things. You will need your green sketchbook and a pencil. Once you have both of those, you are going to open to a brand new page, to 3 spaces. When we talked about Shantell Martin's work, we talked about how she mainly uses 3 things. She uses lines, she uses words and letters, and she also uses shapes. We're going to start with lines. Last week we talked about how lines are a path that are created by a moving point, mark, or object. When a line ends, a shape begins. This is a line. But if I were to connect that with another line, it becomes a shape. So a line is something that's just, from one end to the other. Lines can be straight. Maybe they are vertical and they go up and down. Maybe they are horizontal and go from side to side. Lines can also be diagonal and they go in different angles. You can have lines that are wavy and they are a little different. Some lines have long peaks and some have really short waves that connect at a point. You can also have zigzag lines that go up and down. You can also have curly lines. You can also have lines that are curved. You can have lines that spiral. Maybe you have a pattern with like crisscross. And lines can also be thick or thin. So there's lots of different types of lines, and you can choose whatever lines you want. If you come up with another type of line, you can also use that as well. Last week, you already chose your first line, and you answered the question, if I were to be a type of line, what type of line would I be? So I have one type of line already. All right, now that I got 4 different types of lines that I think I might want to use in my final, I'm going to head on over and think of words and letters. So let's start with letters. Think about your favorite letters. And by the way, there's no right answer to any of these. We're just brainstorming here to just get our creative juices flowing. So another thing that Shantell Martin used is words and phrases. So think about words and phrases that make you happy. Maybe you think about words from your daily life. Maybe you think about words from your favorite TV show or game or book, or maybe you think of different words, like maybe you are involved in hobbies or sports. So think about a couple things. I think I might do my favorite color. You can also use names. So maybe you have a family member, a friend, or someone's name who you really want to include in your artwork, because this artwork is about us, so we want to tell a story about ourselves. I'm going to use the phrase, I've seen this word a lot around town, community. Even though we're separated right now, we are all learning together and we're growing together and we're trying our best because we are all in this together. So now our next step is to think about phrases. So maybe there's a favorite quote that you have, or maybe your teacher starts off the day with a saying that you really like, or maybe your family has a catchphrase,
If every woodchuck were perfect, we would have hot dogs.
So let's move on to shapes. So think about what shapes you might want to include. You can think of basic shapes, like one of my favorite shapes is a star and a triangle. Maybe you think of other types of things you want to use. So I think I might want to use a picture of my dog, because I have a dog named Indy. So I'm going to draw a little something that's representational of a dog. Representational means it doesn't have to look exactly like it, but it looks close to, like that this is a dog, because it has a tail and ears and mouth and legs and all that good stuff. You can also maybe use things from your favorite games or TV shows. So I know that Imposters is huge right now, and I think they look like. Sorry, my camera cut out. So think about favorite games. Maybe you think about TV shows. I've got the little earthbender symbol here, or maybe you think about a memory. This one is poker for camping. So once you have, basically, we want at least 2 to 3 types of lines, a couple letters, a couple phrases, and maybe a couple shapes. Once you have that on your brainstorming page, then you're going to flip to a brand new page in your sketchbook. And remember, when we're sketching with pencil, you want to sketch lightly so that you can erase it, okay? When you're drawing, you want to think about filling your whole page. In Shantell Martin's work, a lot of it touches at least 3 sides of the page. Here you can see I'm trying to touch all 4 edges of my paper. You also want to think about variety, having big lines that go across the whole page and then having small lines that only go across a tiny portion of the page. What's really cool about Shantell Martin's work is that she draws in what they call a stream of consciousness. So here you can see I added this one shape and then thought it looked like a snake. And then that's kind of where my piece took off. So if you get started on a piece and it goes a different direction than you anticipate, that's what Shantell Martin is all about. So here I am kind of embracing that idea of the snake. So our brainstorm is a way to get us started on this piece, but then you can go from there. Don't forget that you can turn your sketchbook around as you see fit. It might be harder to draw at an angle when you have it right side up, but if you just turn it and draw from the other side, then you'll have a lot easier time. At the end of Zoom class today, what you're going to do is post two things. You're going to take a picture of your brainstorming page, as well as take a picture of your work in progress. Then you're going to go over to Seesaw, and in the template, all you'll have to do, as long as you got your photo saved, is tap the camera, upload, and select your picture. And you can put them side by side. Don't forget, once you're done, tap that green check for approval.